Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Let's do a spiritual roundup today to supersize your business. I'm doing one to supersize mine, challenging you to do one to supersize yours as well. We have talked about several of these areas already, but today we are focusing on spiritual health and well-being. And I can hear it already. Oh, there's no spiritual component. There's nothing spiritual about my business. We're not even allowed to talk about religion, etc. I will say that because that's exactly what we've been going through my head probably 15, 20 years ago now, but I felt the same way. I'm like, well, it just is what it is, but it absolutely is not. Our culture is impacted by everything that we as human beings are impacted by. In spirit and spirituality, belief in something outside of ourself, a higher power, a bigger power and purpose, to me all falls under the caption or the umbrella of spirituality, spiritual health and well-being. So I include that as part of the 9-part life framework that I share. And today we're looking at doing a roundup. And by roundup, I mean just an assessment and a quick little summary of the year that we're just leaving. So what's happened in the past year with respect to spiritual health and well-being, and what do I want it to look like next year? And we do that by asking ourselves 4 questions. Number 1, and writing them down. I say, if you're going to do it, you might as well write it down so you can go back and revisit it. And you can see if you gave it your effort or if you didn't give it your effort. At least that's how it works for me. So we're going to look at spirituality. And if I look at, and I did this in a little notebook so I could share it, I like to take things like spirituality, emotional health and well-being, even contribution sometimes is hard to measure, things that are more subjective than objective. I like to find a way to put an objective measure on that. So for example, spirituality, at the beginning and the end of each year, I apply a rating on a scale of 1 to 10 to keep it simple. You can create whatever you want. If you want to have 1 to 1,000 or 1 to 100, which would be me that 15 years ago gal too. I overcomplicated everything. And all that did was make my life more stressful. So let's keep it simple. Scale of 1 to 10. Beginning of the year, I rated my spirituality a 5, which is average. And just last week when I redid this exercise and asked myself, okay, well, how do I rate myself on spirituality right now? With respect to my businesses, I gave us a 6 because we did some things this year that positively impacted our culture and the spirit and the soul of our business, right? And then beginning of the year, I set this spirituality as a 7, number 7 priority wise, for how much energy and emphasis and how much I need to pay attention to that area, because I don't have things put in place that make it automatic. And I moved that to a 9 about a week ago in my mind and estimation, because we made progress in that area. We continue to make progress in that area. I've got systems and things in place that are making sure that that area and aspect of my life and my business is handled automatically. So I don't have to specifically stop and deal with something. If that makes sense. For example, I am in a 6-month manifestation, spirituality, hypnosis, and tools that really help me to stay a little level challenge. And so I know for at least the first 5 months of the year, I got this handled. So I don't need to make that an area of emphasis. Will I revisit it in the middle of the year? Probably, depending on, and I'll for sure revisit it next year's challenge for the month that we talk about spiritual topics and ways to incorporate that into our business and into our life. So that's where I'm at with that. And what do we do for a roundup? We ask ourselves 4 questions. Number 1, and we write down the answers. You can write it down as detailed or as simply as you want. Number 1, what are the wins that we've had in the area of spirituality in this current year? Number 2, what are 3? And I say 3 lessons learned because I don't want us to focus on, I don't know if it happens to you, but it happens to me a lot. I'm thinking about the situation more than the lesson learned. And what I want this exercise to is focus on the lesson learned, carry that forward with us, but don't carry any of the nonsense that was involved in the situation that required us to learn a lesson forward. Thirdly, we're going to look at what is our biggest challenge still in the area of spirituality that we want to make sure we deal with next year as quickly as possible so it doesn't negatively impact the rest of our year. And then finally, what's next? What are the top 3 things with the area of spirituality that we want to bring into next year? Mine, I've just shared the example of the mastermind that I'm a part of. I'm definitely bringing that with me next year, right? All right. Any questions about this? Just ask. The point is to just create a simple 1-pager or notes with these 4 things so that you've reviewed 2025 and you're going into 2026 strong. I can't tell you how powerful this exercise is and has been for literally thousands of people, including me, over and over and over again. That's why I challenge you to do it today. And if there's anything you want to share in the comments below, please do that, because it helps to encourage other people and helps us all to learn from one another. I love collective whole learning. All right, have an amazing day. If I can help you, ask. Otherwise, I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.